Welcome to the St. Tammany Parish Zoning Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, January 9th, 2018. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Casabon? Here. Mr. Lauren? Here. Mr. Richardson? Mr. Richard? Here. Mr. Willie? Here. Mr. Manella?
Here.
Mr. Davis? Here. Mr. Fitzmaurice? Mr. Doherty? Here. Mr. Drum? Mr. Randolph?
We do have a quorum. This time we would respectfully ask that you silence all phones and electronic devices. If you wish to appeal any of the recommendations of this commission, appeals cards are to our right. If you wish to speak in front of the commission, we would ask that you fill out a speaker's card for our records. Each side will be provided 10 minutes to present with 5 minutes for rebuttal. And lastly, at the end of each case, if you wish to discuss it any further, we would ask that you leave the building as when you go into the back foyer, it does echo into the chamber. This time we would ask you to rise for the invocation by Commissioner Randolph, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Lauren.
Gracious Father, once again we come to say thank you for all the blessings you bestowed on our lives as you found us and had favor, Heavenly Father, as we went through this holiday season. You brought us through a new year, and here we are, and we thank you for this opportunity once again to represent our parish and our government. Thank you for our commissioners. Thank you for those that we're representing, all of our citizens. Bless each family here and everywhere, and all these blessings we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point, I respectfully ask for a point of personal privilege. On behalf of the entire commission, we would like to extend our most sincere condolences to Parish President Pat Brister and the Brister family for the loss of their beloved Joe Brister. Thank you. This time we would have the election of officers, which, consistent with our bylaws at the beginning of every calendar year, the commission will vote from one of its own a chairman and a vice chairman. I will open it up for Commissioner Richard.
At this time, I'd like to nominate yourself, Commissioner Manella, as our chair again for the 2018 calendar year. And at the same time, if I may combine them, I would like to nominate Commissioner Davis as vice chair.
Thank you. We have a motion to nominate Commissioner Manella, myself, as chair, and Commissioner Davis as vice chair. Commissioner Randolph.
I second.
Motion is second. Any further nominees? If not, we have a motion to elect Commissioner Manella, myself, as chair, and Commissioner Davis as vice chair. Please vote.
All voted in favor.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. In our packets are the December 5th, 2017 minutes. If you please review them, and then I will entertain a motion. Commissioner Randolph. Motion by Commissioner Randolph to approve. Commissioner Davis.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Lauren.
Maybe there's an error in my, excuse me. Okay, I'm sorry. There may be an error in my packet, but I don't see Commissioner Fitzmaurice anywhere either present, absent, or abstaining on any of the items.
We will make that as an amendment as such to the minutes the presence of Commissioner Fitzmaurice. So we have a motion to accept the minutes as amended, and it has been seconded by Commissioner Davis. Please vote. Commissioner Richard, excuse me.
We have one of the minor changes. Minor, on item 5, it's got me voting for and against the same item. It's minor. It passed, but I did vote against it.
So noted. Clarification is that you voted nay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other clarifications, amendments? So we have a motion to adopt the minutes as amended by Commissioner Randolph, second by Commissioner Davis. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
Thank you. Staff, are there any cases wishing postponement?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On page 3, number 9, 2017-855. And Mr. Paul Marone is here in the audience if you have any questions.
Thank you. We will read that one first. 2017-855-ZC, existing zoning, A2 Suburban District, proposed zoning, HC2 Highway Commercial District. The parcel is located on the north side of US Highway 190, west of North Mill Road, being lots 362 and 363, North Oaklawn Subdivision, Ward 7, District 7. The parcel, 9.63 acres. The petitioner, James Sonny Salade. The owner, Donald I. Gear, Thomas L. Hutchinson, and Rebecca Hutchinson. Council District 7. Staff is recommending postponement. Mr. Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of the petitioner. After the petition or request and application was filed by my client, we determined that, in fact, the zoning requested did not actually fit his entire intended use. As a result, a revised application has been submitted, but with the advertising delays, that petition cannot come before you until your February meeting. So we would ask that this matter be tabled so that the allotted time can run and our revised application can be before you at your next meeting.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Marone. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the postponement? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
Paul? I'd like to ask you, what's your revised zoning request?
The revised request will be from HC2 to I1, and we are working with the councilman as well to perhaps shrink that request down so that it's only some of the frontage along Highway 190, but it's from HC2 to I1.
Is it AC2 or is it an A2 to I1? Since you're
It's from currently A2 to I1. The request before you tonight was to go to HC2.
Right.
So that's what's being stricken.
Okay, and that's for the entire 9.63 acres?
That's what the application is, but the conversations with Mr. Groby, we are looking at limiting that request to just the frontage along 190 and not along the back street.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dougherty.
Helen, I've got a question for you on this. Is this going to have a new item number since it's a revised?
No, we're using the same number. We
Okay, it's just got to be
re-advertised.
re-advertised under that
Yes,
same number?
that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Again, Commissioner Davis.
I'll make a motion to postpone for 1 month.
Motion by Commissioner Davis to postpone for 1 month, second by Commissioner Dougherty. Any other comments? Please vote.
All voted in favor to postpone for 1 month.
Zoning change request cases, applications for a proposed change of zoning district or amendments to the land use ordinance requiring review and recommendation of approval by the zoning commission before action by the parish council are as follows. 2017-782-ZC, existing zoning A3 suburban district, proposed zoning A3 suburban district and manufactured housing overlay. The parcel is located on the north side of Sisters Road, west of Carroll Road, Ward 9, District 12. The parcel is 9,300 square feet. The petitioner, Eric Fust. The owner, Tam Land Investments, Inc., James A. Lindsay, Council District 12. Staff?
The 2025 future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with residential uses, including manufactured homes. Staff does not have any objection to the request. Staff recommends the request be approved.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? If you would please come to the podium, state your name and address and the reason for your request, sir.
Eric Fuest. My address is 3128 Akron Street, Kenner, Louisiana, 70065.
And the reason for your request, sir?
So I can have a home of my own. Me and my wife been married for 17 years, and we're trying to be homeowners.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, we close it to the public and we bring it to the commission. You may sit down. Thank you. Commissioner Dougherty.
Yes, this is for staff. The drawing, the aerial shows that the piece of property that we're dealing with goes over into lots 9, 10, and 11. Is that just kind of an error with the computer?
Yes, it is. It's just a mapping.
Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Dougherty to approve. Commissioner Randolph. Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further comments? Hearing none, we have a motion by Commissioner Dougherty to approve, second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
2017-835-ZC, existing zoning, A6, multiple family residential district. Proposed zoning, A4A, single family residential district. The parcel is located on the north side of Lakeview Drive, being lot 52A1, Eden Isles, Unit 2A, and 226 Lakeview Drive, Slidell, Ward 9, District 13. Petitioner, James and Tammy Burns. The owner, James and Tammy Burns. Council District 13. Staff.
The future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with residential uses. Staff has no objection to the request. Staff recommends that the request for A4A be approved.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, sir, and the reason for your request.
Hello, my name is James Burns. Been a resident in St. Tammany's Parish for 39 years. And me and my wife are looking to build a home. And that's why it was a condo. We're looking to have the rezoning done into a single dwelling.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Dougherty.
Thank you. This is in my mind, a very favorable change going from a multifamily to a single family. That's some nice property out there along the lake and the canal. I'll move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Dougherty to approve. Commissioner Randolph. Second by Commissioner Randolph. Are there any further comments? Not, we have a motion by Commissioner Dougherty to approve, second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
2017-845-ZC, text change. An ordinance amending the Unified Development Code, Volume 1, zoning, relative to the definition and establishment of reception venues within unincorporated St. Tammany Parish. Staff?
The objective of this text change is to allow for the addition of a new use relative to reception venues and to also provide definitions. As you can see here to the new text change, we're proposing 3 different types of venues. The small one, which would not exceed, would not allow more than 150 people. The medium-sized one that would allow for less than 150 or up to 500 people. And a large one, which would allow a maximum capacity of 500 people or more. The small venue would be allowed in NC4, and the medium venue would be allowed in NC6, and the large venue would be allowed in HC2. And at this time, staff would like to recommend approval of the proposed uses and definitions.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to speak in favor of this request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you. Caller Hernandez. You know, I was hoping that this matter would be postponed for this evening. You know, there are two things that are technical in nature. The online ordinance appears, and there's a missing line at the end of page 1. The line is missing. Also, the reference to definition, section 2, is also incorrect. There's a new number now associated with the Muni code, excuse me. I have a problem with the NC4 being the first one being for this, and I think if those of us, reception venues, small, medium, and large, the small, I look at these as something which has a good possibility that alcohol will be served at these reception. Yet under NC4, that's not possible, at least the way I interpret the ordinance. And I would suggest then that under NC6, which is the second one for medium, would be where you would start with the small. And also the next one would be under HC1 for the median, and then the large venue, reception venue, would be the same, the HC2. All 3 of those allow for the serving of alcohol. So if I could quickly, well, maybe I shouldn't read all the NC4s, but I don't believe that that's the proper place for this. And if I could read where NC6, which is where I would propose that the small venue be located, I will read you the 8 that are presently permitted: golf courses, community centers, parks and playgrounds, sports or gymnasiums, athletic fields, convention and conference centers, marina, recreational vehicle parks. I think that that's a better place for this reception venue than under NC4, which has other types of uses there. The HC1 has a large number, 22, I believe, 22 permitted uses, and many of those, I believe, also would be appropriate for the this type of venue. Of course, it also allows alcohol, which I think is a big plus in terms of the uses that are being proposed. So one of the other issues that I had with regard to this when I was hoping for a postponement was that the parking, I could not find, obviously there isn't anything right now that specifically identifies this type of venue. So I'm questioning and I'm wondering what was the parking associated with this. Now, looking at the types that could be used for this thing, I could see where it might apply to 3 different types. And one of those types says that it, in terms of the determination, it's up to the staff of the commission to determine what the parking requirements would be. So I would like to know up front what the parking requirements are for this type, so we could see, you know, what is associated with it. When you have a difference between, you know, up to 150, I mean, that's quite a difference, and I'm wondering what are the parking regulations, and then the next, and you've already heard the next 2 steps on the thing. So, you know, I think it's very important for us to know what the parking regulations are and the requirements are for these types of uses on this. So I would hope that you would consider postponing this, or at the very least, change the zoning designation so that we start out with NC 6 and then go to HC 1 and then HC 2 for the matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Lee Domingue. I am a member and board member for the BioLiberty Association, and I'm here also to speak, as Mr. Hernandez did, for postponement of this proposal. It is the opinion of BioLiberty Association, as well as mine, and Mr. Otis Favre accompanied me here tonight. He's also a board member. Have concerns about the specifics regarding this proposal. Obviously, it's a tiered event venue capacity designation for specific areas, but it is the opinion of the BioLiberty group that that type of event shouldn't occur in neighborhoods at all. And I totally agree with Mr. Hernandez that NC4 is not the place for events up to 150 persons. And not only that, I think it was Mr. Stefancic who first recommended this proposal, and he first brought this up in one of his monthly meetings about 6 months ago. It's apparent that if you actually apply that number of people attending an event, it's typically associated with music, karaoke, lots of lights. So there are problems with noise threshold. There are problems with parking control. How is that going to be monitored or regulated by the parish? Now, once again, Mr. Stefancic has indicated that all of this can be done because all of those events are now occurring in these areas and people are complaining, and the parish doesn't have the manpower to monitor that. Once you create a large number of more events occurring in NC4, NC6, and Highway Commercial 2, you're increasing the number of events taking place and adversely potentially affecting the people who live in that area who do not want to have those events. Therefore, we are suggesting that the zoning commission consider delaying any voting on this for at least several months. And it's important that all of those areas that have these neighbors who may be adversely affected fully understand what the impact may be with this. It's also important that we have a large number of facilities legally operating, sponsoring these types of venues throughout the parish. I happen to look online. There were more than a dozen events, facilities offering these events in the Slidell area, up to 400 or 500, even up to 2,000 in Abita. The problem here is that do these businesses, are they aware of what's happening here and how this may affect them? It seems to me that the parish council and the board here should not be trying to legalize something which is currently going on because it's illegal and difficult to monitor. because the effect may be far-reaching, way beyond what I think this parish and the citizens are either aware or want in their area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? This time, I would close it to the public and bring it to the commission. Commissioner Dougherty.
Yes, this is for staff on the parking. How will the parking be regulated and the number of spaces and everything?
It will be on the parking regulation that we apply to restaurant, which is 1 per 3 seats or 1 per 3 for 3 occupants and 1 per employee on duty.
Does that need to state that, for parking, refer to the parking regulations for restaurants?
I mean, we could always amend that section of the parking regulation and add that particular, and add
Well, I mean,
reception
if
venue.
somebody starts looking at this and then, from the public, I doubt very seriously if they're gonna go to the restaurant section to look at the parking.
Well, we wouldn't have any objection to add that use under the parking regulation to make it clearer.
Okay? And what's the staff's opinion on taking NC4 up to NC6?
It's, that's how it is presented to you here this evening. So the zoning commission has the right to make changes or amend the ordinance if necessary.
Okay, I can certainly see maybe going to NC6 versus NC4. It in my mind, fits better. And down at the bottom of page 1, Carlos mentioned that there is a sentence or something missing on my page, and I'm sure the rest of the pages. It just says number 18, reception venue large, and then you go to the next page, and it starts out with repeal.
Yes, well, number 18 is what will be added under under what was section 5.21. So there, I'm not aware that there's anything missing. It's just like the one above. However, it is correct that since Unicode was adopted, that the numbering system will be changed into the ordinance.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, with those changes, I really feel this might need to be tabled for a month, not several months, but postponed for 1 month, and give staff an opportunity to correct or change the NC4 to NC6 and put a comment in there on the parking, and I'd move to postpone this till our next meeting.
Motion to postpone for 1 month, Commissioner Dougherty. Commissioner Davis.
Another question for staff. Currently, where is the definition of reception venue? And would you read that for me, please?
Currently, this is the proposed definitions that are here on.
Okay,
in
it
the
doesn't
text.
say anything about alcohol consumption and things like that. I mean, obviously, when you say a reception venue, is that going to be including alcohol consumption?
Well, if that particular zoning allows for
Oh,
alcohol.
only if the zoning itself will allow for the consumption. So it's not like saying NC4 at a nursery school or a childcare or a church, we can have alcohol. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Casabon.
Yes, I need some clarification on this particular, when it says an establishment, is that a building that's already there in that particular zoning that would have the capacity to hold 150, or 500 people, or when we say rural venue, what do we neighborhoods or?
Well, it could be an existing building that would be modified to allow hosting events or meetings. Or it could be built from ground up.
If we're having existing, commercial or venues like this, I don't understand, I really don't understand why, if the building is a commercial area, why, and they hold this number of people, and the establishment already has the parking and the lighting and everything that goes with that particular business. So this is like somebody wants to go and just find a big building and decide that they want to have a reception there? Or,
Well,
because it's in that zone?
we would have to make sure, look into the size of the building and make sure that it will not exceed 150 people, which would also be controlled by the fire marshal, which they established the maximum occupancy of the
What I'm
building.
saying is, it's not going to be, as the man stated, people that are in the reception business. It's just a private person can go and find a building large enough to hold a reception in a neighborhood or in one of these neighborhoods.
Well, it is not, and hopefully I'm answering your question correctly. It's, if someone would want to purchase or rent a building that's already constructed, then they would also have to meet all the parking requirements and as well as all other requirements. If you have a building that is zone NC4, but you cannot accommodate the required number of parking spaces, then the use would not be allowed.
I guess I'm just confused at the need for this, that we're stating that it seems like these venues are going on now, and they're not being able to be regulated? Is that why we're doing this?
Well, at this time, reception halls are not permitted under the NC4, NC6, and HC2.
So we're going to allow them in the neighborhoods, the reception? I just have a problem with putting it into the neighborhoods.
It will be allowed, if it's approved, it will be allowed under those particular zoning.
Okay. I have some problems of understanding and figuring out exactly. I think more in-depth needs to be looked at this closely, and I agree with the postponement. I'll second it.
We have a second by Commissioner Casabon to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Richard.
I'm going to just, Helen, I'm going to ask another question in that regard to make sure I'm fully understanding. First of all, I agree with the speakers. We need to clean this up a little bit. I'm trying to understand the genesis of this. Why is this necessary? If we have violators out there, are we trying to correct the violations by creating zoning? Or is this something that currently, what do you have to be zoned to have a reception facility?
HC3?
HC3, okay, that's the reason. And maybe that's too intense for having, but that being said, I'm also a little disappointed with the NC4 component of it. And also, when we talk about venues here, I don't see, we're talking about buildings, but this could be outdoors.
Yeah.
There's no, I think we, and I know we've got a motion and a second on the table. I'd feel more comfortable if we spent a little more time cleaning this up. It may very well be needed, and maybe HC3 is too intense to be able to have the only place that we could have this kind of venue. But I think the speakers in the audience made some great points, and I'll also support that motion.
Commissioner Davis.
I'll have to agree with the rest of the commissioners as well. I think of the small, medium, and large, would be more inclined around NC6, HC1, and HC2.
Commissioner Willie.
Yes, Mr. Richard hit on a couple things I had to ask, and that was about the HC3 zoning, where they permitted it now. But another question was regarding like the I know we have buildings when a lot of these receptions are held on outside patios and stuff, and tents are involved. Is all that going to be incorporated in some of the rules and regulations regarding it?
Well, and it's a great point that is being brought up is, you know, something that I will definitely research further and have a better answer for you. At this time, if I'm not mistaken, the uses plan to be, you know, take place inside of a building. But I will do some more research and see how we can clarify that of allowing it, not allowing it, or adding it to the definition. And of course, it will be in your hands to vote on it as well.
Okay, thanks, Ellen.
Commissioner Dougherty, pursuant to conversation with council, if you would like to get further clarification on this for postponement, we can put an amendment to the postponement amendment whereby the NC4, you had stated to raise that to an NC6, I believe. So if it would be appropriate so staff clearly understands the intention of the commission, that you make an amended motion to change NC4 to NC6. If we get a second, we'll vote on that, and then we'll vote on the postponement for 1 month, but that'll further clarify what the commission is requesting. Okay, so you will make a motion to amend the NC4 to an NC6? Okay, a motion by Commissioner Dougherty to amend NC4 to NC6. Do we have a second? Commissioner Randolph? Commissioner Randolph?
I'm looking at the very first paragraph underneath the actual title and ordinance. It seems as if, it's reading as if we requested that we put together or the staff come up with some type of definition. I don't understand, I really don't understand what we're doing. But it seems as if this is something that we recommended to the council to add something more definitive or more explanatory to the Unified Development Code as it relates to reception venues. I'd just like to know, does anybody recall that? Okay.
Commissioner Davis.
Yes, I applaud Commissioner Dougherty on his increase from the NC4 to NC6 for being for the small venue. I'd like to recommend to him that for the medium menu, we go from NC6 to Highway Commercial 1 and then leave the large HC2 zoning would be a request if he wants to change his motion.
Well,
sorry about this, but I just think, I know we're postponing it anyway, but to try to get the idea to have a little bit more consistently increase.
Commissioner Davis, if Commissioner Dougherty's motion was not second, so if you wish to make an amendment.
I would like to make an
You
amendment.
can do it as you stated.
I would like to make an amendment that for the medium reception venue, that the minimum zoning requirement would be HC1 instead of NC6.
And for?
And the large reception venue would remain the same at HC2 and above, of course.
Okay, so again, this is an entirely new amendment. So you would have NC4 to NC6, NC6 to HC1, and HC2 also to HC1?
No.
NC4 to NC6.
HC2 would remain the same for a large.
And NC6 goes to HC1.
That's correct.
So we have a motion to amend the postponement by including NC4 to become NC6 and NC6 to become HC1.
That's correct.
Okay. Second by Commissioner Dougherty. Commissioner Casabon.
I was going to second Mr. Dougherty's, but the first motion that he made, I was going to second it. And,
Are you okay
So-
with the amended motion by Commissioner Davis?
has anybody seconded?
Yes, it
Okay,
has been
that's
considered
it.
by
Done.
Commissioner Dougherty. Counsel?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for the sake of making the record clear, hopefully, and if nothing else, my mind is clear of what the commission intends to do at this point in time. As I appreciate it, and please correct me if you understand something differently, the commission primarily desires to postpone consideration of this matter for 1 month. And in conjunction with that, because the motion is to postpone, amending the ordinance at this time would not be appropriate, but requesting staff to consider coming back to the commission with a potential amendment to its ordinance that is before you with the changes to the zoning classifications would be the most appropriate action to be taken. So in other words, a motion would be to postpone in conjunction with a request that staff review the proposed zonings for this type of use according to the comments made tonight.
Thank you. And that will be two motions. One to amend, because we already had a second on the postponement motion. So we have to vote to amend that, which will include exactly what you said. It's two parts.
Okay.
It's Robert's rules. I'll defer to our parliamentarian.
Motion postponed, that takes precedent. Go ahead and vote on that.
Commissioner Randolph.
While we're considering or asking that the staff consider some things, one of the discussions that we had was concerning parking. Can we ask the staff to consider the parking as well in that, as a friendly amendment?
Certainly, as a commissioner, you can ask staff of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Davis.
I'd like to say ditto, but it's getting to the point now where I'm getting confused. So my motion was the last motion, correct?
Right. Well, again, as Commissioner Richard has now pointed out clearly, the comments that we're making to staff will take all those into consideration.
Okay.
The motion that was actually on the floor is a motion to postpone by Commissioner Dougherty and second by Commissioner Casabon.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Commissioner Lauren. Okay. We'll need biometrics. So with that, we have a motion to postpone for 1 month by Commissioner Dougherty, second by Commissioner Casabon. Needless to say, the staff has been given input on what the commission would like to see a month from now. With that, I would ask for a vote.
All voted in favor to postpone for 1 month.
2017-848-ZC, existing zoning, A1 Suburban District, proposed zoning, A1 Suburban District and manufactured housing overlay. The parcels located on the south side of Philobar Road and Bennett Bridge Road, Ward 2, District 3. Parcel, 4 acres. The petitioner, Todd N. Leon. The owner, Todd N. Leon. Council District 3, staff.
Future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with residential and agricultural uses. Staff does not have any objection to the request. Staff recommends that the request for manufacturing housing overlay be approved.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? Please come to the podium, sir. State your name and address and the reason for your request.
My name's Todd Nicholas Leon, live in Kenner, Louisiana, 7065. Purchased the property with an existing house to restore. It was too far gone, would like to put a new house in the same place the old house was, for a place to own.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Casabon.
Yes, this is an area that it would be appropriate. Did the house get flooded with the river? And it's part of that area when the flood came and stuff. I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve. Commissioner Lauren.
Yes, I'm looking at the survey, and it shows the existing house on the survey plot. Is it still there, or is it gone?
It is gone now.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Any further comments? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve, second by Commissioner Lauren. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
2017-851-ZC, existing zoning, A2 Suburban District, proposed zoning, A2 Suburban District and manufactured housing overlay. The parcel is located on the south side of Wilson Road, east of Plantation Street, west of Range Line Road, being 21312 Wilson Road, Covington, Ward 10, District 2. The parcel, .74 acres. The petitioner, Michael D. Fletcher. The owner, Michael D. Fletcher. Council District 2. Staff.
The future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with residential uses, including manufactured homes. Staff has no objection to the request. Staff recommends that the request be approved.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? If you please come to the podium, sir. State your name and address for the record and the reason for your request.
My name is Michael Fletcher. I live at 21314 Wilson Road, which is adjoining to the parcel that I'm trying to have rezoned. The property's been in my family for 70 years. My brother let it get away. He sold it. I repurchased it from the person that he sold it to. When I bought it, before I bought it, I asked for the zoning to see what the zoning was, and the zoning would allow mobile homes there. So during the purchase, I didn't have the financing, so I had my father purchase the property, and I paid all the notes. And then when I paid, in that process, right after I got it, because I'd already checked to see if the zoning was okay, and it was for a mobile home, I came and got a permit to have a mobile home put on there, but the finances at the time wasn't, even though I went on ahead and paid for the permit and I was okayed, the finances for the new mobile home that I was going to put on there wasn't available at the time. So I let the permit pass by. And then now that I have the land paid for now, and I put it in my name because I got the notes paid for and I purchased the property. I mean, my father had the land put in my name because I had all the notes paid for. I wanted to put another mobile home on that corner lot there because my daughter, her and her husband have separated and they're getting a divorce. She's living with me, so I wanted to put a mobile home on that corner lot so she'd have a place to stay because I'm on disability and I'm unable to come up with the money to put a house there. And the mobile home is, I can come up with the funds to get a mobile home put there. It's just a $100,000 home. I don't have the money for all that.
So you plan to put a...
But I'm wanting to get my daughter out of my house. I mean, I'm living with her, you know, her and her 2 children. I mean, I love them to death, but, you know,
So
I mean,
you're looking to provide a home for your
yeah,
daughter?
I'm looking to put a mobile home on that corner lot for her.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Connie Moore. I live at 73477 Tammany Lane, and I have some exhibits for you guys tonight. I'm here tonight representing a group of people who oppose this zoning change. We believe that by placing a manufactured home on this land is not the highest and best use for this property. By allowing the property owner to place another mobile home or manufactured home on this property, you're expanding a non-conforming use, and let me explain why. Excuse me. The homeowner has 2 parcels of land located at the corner of Wilson Road and Tammany Lane. Both of these parcels are in current violations of numerous parish ordinances. The first parcel, which is located next to the proposed site, is .73 acres. On this site, there are 2 currently unpermitted mobile homes with no septic tank permit on file with the DES or the State Health Department. There is a camper trailer and numerous outbuildings unfinished at various stages of completion. They are inoperable vehicles, old tires, and construction debris. The 2 mobile homes in the camper trailer represents 3 domiciles on less than 1 acre of land, which violates the lot size restriction. This property is also the petitioner's where he is claiming his homestead exemption. By allowing the property owner to place another mobile home on the adjoining lot, there is potentials for additional violations. Currently on the proposed site, there are 4 inoperable vehicles. The back bed of one of the trucks that are on the property is overflowing with car parts, trash, and tires. There are 4 inoperable boats. There is 1 empty boat trailer. There is 1 large, heavy-duty, very rusty, triple-axle, heavy-duty trailer with discarded tires piled on top of it. In addition, there's another large pile of tires on the ground, a large pile of tires back further in the woods. There's a large pile of cut wood, partially 2 constructed buildings, that's just the foundation part of them, an unpermitted large metal carport, numerous bags of aluminum cans, metal truck toolbox, inoperable riding lawnmower, and bags of trash all over the place. The dynamics of this neighborhood is changing. Our neighborhood is becoming developed with permanent single-family dwellings of substantial value. Allowing another mobile home in this neighborhood will decrease the current values of the home in the surrounding areas. Zillow, a popular real estate website, states that surrounding properties do make a difference in the value of your property. NeighborWise.com also agrees with Zillow. They found that 54% of potential buyers place an equal importance on the house as well as the neighborhood. In 2010, the parish completed a comprehensive zoning overhaul, and after 2 years of study, they enacted the manufactured housing overlay districts. This MHO, as it's called, is responsible for guiding orderly growth and development. It is also designed to help protect the property, our value of our property and our homes. It has been proven in studies all across the country that mobile homes decrease the value of the surrounding property. While there is nothing wrong with a manufactured home, they're simply not viewed in the same level as a traditional single-family residence. Future trends in this neighborhood are toward permanent single-family dwellings. Adjacent to the petitioner's property is 101 acres slated for a subdivision, which is going to be called Wilson Plantation. This property line of this new subdivision is 100 feet from the petitioner's proposed site. According to another real estate website, home buyers place the neighborhood in the top 5 reasons for purchasing a home. Therefore, based on future trends, past performance, non-conforming use, the MHO district, and property values, we feel that by placing a manufactured on this land is not the best use for this property and does not reflect responsible, orderly growth and development. We need to preserve the inherent beauty of this parish, and the parish did that by passing the MHO. We respectfully request that you deny the proposing zoning change. Now, I've handed out some photographs. If you would like some explanation of them, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? Yes, ma'am. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Margaret Dubier. I live at 21282 Wilson Road, which is on the corner of Wilson Road and Tammany Lane, directly adjacent to this piece of property. There are currently 2 mobile homes there presently. The condition of that property, I don't approve of. I don't think it's what we need right now. I think a 3rd home will jeopardize the value of my property, which is adjacent to it across from Tammany Lane, and I oppose the placing of that mobile home on this piece of property. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition?
Good afternoon. My name's Linda Searcy. I live at 21291 Wilson Road, which is directly across from Mr. Fletcher's property. And I am concerned about the junk, the accumulation that's continually going on. One of the trailers have been out there several decades, and the tongue's still there, which after 15 days is supposed to be cut off. And nothing's ever done. Nothing's cleaned, nothing's moved, nothing's ever cleaned up. It's quite a mess. When you pull out my driveway, it's the first thing you see. When you pull in my driveway, it's the first thing you see. And I, too, am on disability, so I have to watch every penny and make sure my house stays in order. So if I do ever have to sell, it's worth it to me. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wish to speak in opposition? Mr. Fletcher, you have 5 minutes to rebut.
I do have permits for the one mobile home that was sitting there that my daughter recently got married. She met a man a year ago, and he is a hoarder, and he has been evicted from the property because of the junk that he has accumulated onto the corner lot that he thinks belongs to him because he pays me a little money to stay there since he's married my daughter. And I told him that because he's added boats over there and he's added these 2 junk cars over there. I got a dually over there, yes. A Ford F-350 that's parked there. I wrecked it about a year ago, no, about 2 years ago. And it's got the parts in the back of it that I wanted to use to redo the dually and give it to my grandson, who is begging me for a vehicle now, and it's something that's going to be done. That lot's going to be, I had it cleaned up. There wasn't a thing on that lot except for my 2 set of jet skis I had in the back corner back there with the little deck that I was going to put a shed on, and I didn't get a permit for it. But the other mobile home, they got 2 mobile homes that are on the one that my daughter is living in. She's got the hoarder that she said she's married. And I told him he's got to move all of his stuff, or I was going to move it myself before I put a new mobile home on there. I was going to have that whole lot cleaned up. Everything that's going to be there is going to be gone other than the truck that's there, and it's going to be running very soon because my grandson needs an automobile to drive. And the RV, the camper trailer that she's talking about is not an RV, it's a Class C $80,000 automobile that I'm still currently paying for. Nobody's staying in it. And yes, I got a few sheds that are there, and I'm looking to permit to have another shed built to where I can make 1 shed and I can dispose of the other 2 that are there. They're built with a lot of material. I mean, they're filled with a lot of material that's door frames, windows, cabinets, and things like that I accumulated over the years of when I was in construction work, and I was going to use to build with. I just haven't had the chance to do any building with it, and I just want. I have plans to build one larger one in between the 2 trailers there, And like she said, one mobile home, when I bought it from her family across the street, when I got it, I put it over there on this corner lot, and I wanted to go get it permitted. They said that I didn't have enough property to have it permitted, so that's when I bought the 7.6 or 6 acres, 7 acre right beside me there on the corner lot to where I'd have enough land to get it permitted. They wouldn't give me a permit because after I bought the trailer from them and I put it over there, then I went to get the permit to have all the electric hooked up to it and the sewer hooked up to it. They wouldn't let me do it because I didn't have enough property. So I bought the land that was right beside them. Right beside, that's adjoining to that's on that corner lot. I bought that corner lot to where I'd have enough land to where I can get a permit. Now they would give me a permit because I'd have enough property to get the permit for that other mobile home that's not an ordinance with it. But there is one that is ordinance, and it does have a sewer tank that I did get permitted to put on that property, and it's there permitted to put on that property. And I just haven't got it. I even have 40 foot on the other side of that trailer that I bought from my aunt, which adds to the 7.6, the 76 acre that I've got. So that gives me like 360 feet across the frontage of the road. And now I have enough property to get the other one permitted. And the permit office told me that if I was to purchase the corner lot, that I would have enough property to be able to have that trailer on there, and I would be able to get it permitted, right? But the only reason why I didn't have it permitted, I just now got the property paid for, and now I need to get it paid for. I need to be able to get it permitted to have that other mobile home legal, and I just haven't been able to. The permit. I wanted to get the permit for that second mobile home.
In all due respect, sir, you need to make a closing statement. Any further information else? Thank you. Opposition, you also have 5 minutes to rebut.
Commissioners, if I could call your attention to page 1 of the photographs, you will see the 2 mobile homes that are in question right now with a camper trailer pulled in between. If you will look at the second photograph, behind the toilet that's in the yard, you will notice a shiny spot to the right of that. That's another car pushed into the woods. If you notice the electrical hookup that's right there, you notice the wire that's feeding out of the bottom of that electrical hookup. I believe that is feeding the third picture, which is the bottom of the camper trailer, clearly showing it's hooked up to electrical, to gas, and to water. I'm not sure where the sewage is going. And I would like to ask staff if my information is incorrect, but I found no permits for either one of those mobile homes. I also found no permit for septic tank for either one of them. I don't know where the motorhome is feeding its septic tank, and I look at that at 3 potential residents on less than an acre of land. Also, if you look at some of the pictures, it's kind of hard to see, but the pictures don't do it justice because some of the debris and the trash is way behind the tree line, and I couldn't get very good pictures of it without going on to the petitioner's property. If you look on the very last page of the pictures of the property, you'll notice there is some white, looks like plastic. That is the foundation of a couple of outbuildings that he is in the process of erecting. Those are clearly larger than 10 by 10, which you know you need a permit for. We found one instance where the petitioner was cited for building a building on the building without a permit, but he did come into compliance. And the other pictures are the photographs of the houses that are in the area. The picture on the bottom of page 5 of the photographs, the 21228, was Ms. Dubier's house, who is directly across the street from that home. And if you look on the 7th page, there is a light blue house at 21291 Wilson Road. That is Ms. Cerisi's, that's her property. She is directly across the street. Neither one of these ladies, I think, would enjoy seeing the trash and debris, which is on the current lot, further expanded into the lot that is across from their homes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in rebuttal to provide any further information? And again, we would ask for new information relative to this.
Again, my name is Linda Searcy. I live across the street from the petitioner. I did want to mention that it's at least 90% of the residents that live on the half-acre Wilson Road own minimum 3 acres. Minimum 3 acres for each individual homeowner. So we care about our houses and we care about our property. So I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Thank you, ma'am. This time I'll close it to the public and I will bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
Mr. Fletcher, please come up to the podium. Looking at the survey you've given me, so you're on the property where it says the property of Michael Fletcher, you're on that property?
Yes, well, they both have my name on it, but yes, I'm living on the one that has the 2 mobile homes on it.
Okay, so that's the one we're not questioning tonight for zoning, correct?
And I do agree, the place is a mess. But a year and a half ago when this guy, before my daughter met this guy, there wasn't a thing on that lot except for a jet ski and a little partial part of that building that I was fixing to erect, but I stopped because I didn't have a permit for it. I realized that I didn't have a permit for it, so I stopped, and I was going to wait and go get a permit for it. And that's the reason why it hasn't gone any further than what it has. And believe you me, in a month or before I even go put another mobile home on there, he's going to be gone, and all of his junk that he has brought to that property will be gone. So not only them won't have to look at it anymore, neither will I, because I don't like the eyesore either.
Okay, well, on that note, have you ever been visited by code enforcement from the parish?
Years ago, yes. And it was all taken care of.
And I hate to address everybody in the audience that would like to have this denied. Has anyone ever called code enforcement to have this property looked at?
A long time ago it was called, but I think if you consider the current budget cuts in the parish,
Okay.
we only have 2 code enforcement officers that service the
Okay.
entire parish of St. Tammany.
A question for staff.
It did have a ordinance against it, and I had cleaned everything up. In the past year and a half, I had gone through a lung transplant, and that's the reason why I haven't been able to stay on top of him and
Right.
what's going on in there.
Yeah,
And
I
now-
understand that.
Now I'm almost, next
Sir, in all
month, I'll
due
be a
respect,
year,
sir.
I'll be a year past it, and I'll be.
Yeah, I
I would
understand
ask
that.
for order, unless
I-
addressed to you by a commissioner. Specifically, I would ask that you wait until the commissioner asks you a question.
Okay.
And I understand that, and I feel for your plight. For the staff, let's send this code enforcement out there. And this way, at least they can inform Mr. Fletcher on what things have to be done for your property that you're currently living on with the two mobile homes.
They can come on out there, but believing me, I will start right away and make sure that everything is all the way from over there.
Obviously, you can see the concerns of your neighbor, and I appreciate
It's a concern
that.
for me too. I
Yeah,
mean, I
okay,
don't-
well, again, the
they
staff
can-
is still
they
going to
can
send
bother
code
the parish
enforcement
if
to
they want,
assist
but
you on that.
It will be straightened out probably before they'll even be able to get out there and even see what's going on.
As far as the property next door, the property that used to be, I guess you said your brother's?
Yes,
Okay, that is in your name now?
yes.
There's nothing on that site now?
No, sorry, other than the little slab, not a slab, but thing that I started to build a little shed on, back in the back part of the land, on the corner lot, and I stopped. All it was a foundation. It's a wood foundation on blocks.
Right. Okay, so obviously, code enforcement will look at both of those properties, just to make sure everything's in compliance. When it comes down to actual zoning issues and such, this is a A1 property, correct? Zoning A1, I believe?
A2.
A2
Sorry.
property.
A2, okay. A2 property. A2 property, interesting. And it's less than an acre. Okay, well, as far as having another mobile home, which again has nothing to do with this case tonight, I generally don't have a problem with having a mobile home overlay in this area because there are some mobile homes in the area itself, and that's all I'm going to say.
Commissioner Randolph. You may sit down, sir.
I'd like to follow up on what Mr. Davis was talking about, had a discussion as it relates to code enforcement. Staff, would it be feasible for us to ask that this be tabled until you get a report from the code enforcer?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe legal counsel can add to this, is we have a request to place a mobile home that is next to, there might be a violation. So although it's not a problem for me to contact code enforcement, the request here this evening is to rezone the property to add the mobile home overlay, and maybe Mr. Savant can add to this.
Okay.
In regards to the question about postponing.
Commissioner Casabon.
I think we're looking at a site here that we're not sure, Mr. Fletcher has the 2 mobile homes, but you're saying there's nothing on the second site, but we don't have anything built in to, we can see where things are. And obviously, there are some concerns. We need the code enforcement to know where the affluents and how this is looking. I cannot, in good conscience, add to that. I'd like to see it cleaned up and do everything that he says he's going to do for his neighbor's sake, and let code enforcement help and guide him in what needs to be done. And then we may come back to this again and allow him to come back before us to see if everything was done to allow an overlay, on this second site. But at this time, I'm going to make a motion to deny.
A motion by Commissioner Casabon to deny. Second by Commissioner Drum. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, just a point of interest, if this case is denied tonight, then the applicant can't come back in less than a year to try to have it redone.
Yeah, would be 1 year. Care for any other motions? No? Okay. No. That's just a comment by the commissioner. We have a motion by Commissioner Casabon to deny, second by Commissioner Drum. There's no further comment. Please vote, and please be advised that a yes is to support the deny motion.
Mr. Richard and Mr. Davis voted against the motion. All others voted in favor. The motion has been denied.
Thank you. (2017-852-ZC), existing zoning, CB1 Community-Based Facilities District. Proposed zoning, MD2 Medical Clinic District. The parcels located in the end of Terra Maria Boulevard, east of Louisiana Highway 1081, Ward 3, District 2. The parcel is 2.32 acres. The petitioner, St. John 1427 LLC, Kenneth Lapicolo. Owner, Gary Richardson. Council District 2. Staff.
The zoning change is being requested in order to allow for the 2.32 acre parcel of land to be added to the 13.62 acre adjacent site, which is currently zoned MD2 and is proposed to be developed as a senior care facility. Staff doesn't have any objection to the request and would like to recommend approval.
Mr. Morone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of the petitioner. This 2.3 acre
Excuse
parcel.
me, Mr. Morone, one moment.
I have a question, just as a procedure, excuse me for interrupting.
Sure.
852, 853, and 155 all appear to be the same thing, just one story is different, each part, is that correct?
Mr. Manella, may
Yes.
I answer the question? If it's okay with the commission, we maybe would like to hear of this particular case as is, and maybe the two next cases, since they're related, then maybe we'll try to move them up and hear them at the same time.
It just seemed a lot of duplication I was trying to do.
Thank you, Commissioner Lauren. Mr. Morone, are you comfortable to do that?
Yes, I'm fine with that approach,
Okay,
Mr.
so,
Chairman.
Would you like each read in and you will just make one presentation and we'll vote on them separately, or do you want them?
Whatever is the pleasure of the commission. They are all related cases, although the next zoning change and the PUD amendment, perhaps it would be more appropriate to hear this case and then combine those next two together.
All right, then what we will do is this one is stated, you will give your presentation to this, and then we will proceed with the other two immediately following.
Very good.
So we will amend the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, so again, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone on behalf of the petitioner. As Mr. Lauren pointed out, there are a number of cases on the agenda tonight that are related. And all of these cases relate to the old St. Scholastica Priory property, which I've been before you on other occasions for certain zoning changes. Really tonight, what we are trying to do, I think, is to clean up some of the outlying parcels that originally were part of the old priory, give them what we believe would be the proper zoning for their future uses, and otherwise put the puzzle back together, if you will. This case, the 2.32 acre parcel, was in fact part of the old St. Scholastica Priory property years ago, but it was sold out. And it really became a bit of an island out of this development. So for many years, you had the Tammany development just to the south and east of this particular parcel. On the north side, you had the Priory building itself, and we had a third-party owner that had 2 acres in the middle of all of this. And in fact, over the years, the old ranch house that was located on the property has fallen into disrepair and is quite dilapidated now and has become an eyesore for the developers out there as well as for the residents in Tammany. Last year, I appeared before you with regards to the Priory property that is immediately adjacent to it and requested that it be rezoned to MD2 to accommodate an assisted living facility. Those plans are moving forward. This commission granted that request. Tonight, we are asking that you rezone this 2 acre parcel so that it can be combined back into that larger tract and be part of the assisted living development that is planned. My clients have this property under contract. They are prepared to move to address some of the problems that exist on it with regards to that old building and some of the other eyesores. And we believe that bringing it back into the fold so that we have common ownership and common control, more importantly, will be a benefit not only to the assisted living facility and the property associated with it, but also for Tammany, the residential development next door, as well as Alexander Ridge, which is adjacent to it as well. So for these reasons, we would respectfully request your approval to rezone this 2.3 acre parcel from the CB1 existing to the MD2, consistent with the adjacent zoning that I mentioned prior. I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of the commissioners might have with regards to our request.
Thank you, Mr. Morone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Willie.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. I move to go from CB1 to MD2 for that particular piece of property.
Motion by Commissioner Willie to approve. Commissioner Casabon.
I'll second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Casabon. Any further comments of the commission? Hearing none, please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
2017-853-ZC, existing zoning, A4 single-family residential district and planned unit development overlay. Proposed zoning, MD2 medical clinic district. The parcel is located on the east side of Louisiana Highway 1081, south of Smith Road, north of Planchet Road, Ward 3, District 2. The parcel 6.78 acres. The petitioner, Kenneth Lapicolo. The owner, Military Road Land Company, LLC. Kenneth Lapicolo, Council District 2. Staff.
And we would like to request to hear case number 12 on the agenda, which is a major amendment to the PUD 2016-155-ZC. Hear both cases at the same time and vote separately.
We will read that one into the record. 2016-155-ZC. Major amendment to a planned unit development overlay. The parcel is located on the east side of Louisiana 1081, south of Smith Road, Ward 3, District 2. The parcel 71.454 acres. The petitioner, Paul J. Marone. The owner, Military Road Land Company, LLC. Frank J. Lapicolo. Staff.
Yes, in regards to 2017-853, the 2025 future land use plan calls for the site to be developed as a planned district with residential uses and conservation areas. The zoning is being requested to allow for the 6.78 acre parcel of land to be added to the 13.62 acre adjacent site, which is currently zone MD2, and is proposed to be developed as a senior care facility. And staff would like to recommend approval of this request. Since the two parcels in question of the 6.78 acre is currently zone PUD, then it triggers a major amendment to the PUD for the subdivision, the Tammany subdivision. And here the request consists of a reduction of the total acreage of the subdivision from 76.47 acres to 69.69 acres. The reduction in acreage will result in a removal of two parcels of land of a total of 6.78 acres from the Tammany or newly renamed Alexander Ridge PUD. A 5.76 acre parcel, and I'd like to stipulate that a servitude right of access will remain in place over and across the parcel in order to preserve the access road from Highway 1081 to the PUD subdivision. And in regards to the 1.02 acre parcel, then which is currently classified as green space for the PUD subdivision, it will create a reduction of the total percentage of green space of the PUD. However, it will not result in a reduction below the required 25%. And as requested and as previously explained, it will become part of the existing St. Scholastica Priory and turn into a senior care facility. And at this time, staff would like to recommend approval of the zoning change and the major amendment to the PUD.
Thank you. Mr. Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Marone again on behalf of the petitioners. Again, as I mentioned a moment ago, trying to clean up some of the outlying parcels and bring some cohesion to the old Priory property. Ms. Lambert did a good job of trying to explain what it is we're doing here, but I'm going to take another crack at it and see if I can extend some explanations that will help you better understand it. There are really two parcels that make up this particular request. The first is the 5.76 acre parcel, and that really is the entrance parcel. That is the parcel of ground that abuts Stafford Road, Highway 1081, that is the access way to the Priory, to the 2 acres that you just agreed to rezone, as well as to Alexander Ridge and Tammany subdivision. all of these properties comprise what was the original Priory property. So the 5.76 acres is presently part of the PUD. However, over the long term, the obligation for maintenance of that parcel will rest with the assisted living facility. It is in front of the assisted living facility, and the assisted living facility really will have the means and ability to properly maintain that. As Ms. Lambert noted, the right of access over this parcel in favor of Alexander Ridge and also over in favor of Tierra Marie will continue to exist. There's a predial servitude of passage that will survive so that the right of use will be maintained in perpetuity. However, this will put the zoning consistent with the assisted living facility, which will be the entity and the driving force behind the maintenance of that particular entrance parcel. And for those reasons, we are asking that it be rezoned to the MD2 so that it can be coupled with that parcel. The other tract, which is a 1.02 acre tract, is a very small tract of ground that is just on the north side of the entrance road as it extends back to Alexander Ridge and adjacent to Tierra Marie. Being on the north side of that entrance road, it is actually immediately adjacent to the 2-acre parcel that you just considered for rezoning to MD2 and approved. So what we have with a 1.02 acre parcel is a bit of a no man's land. It's across the roadway from the residential developments. It is immediately adjacent to the existing MD2, and so it didn't seem to make sense to continue to have this small piece of the PUD located on its own, unconnected to the remainder of the PUD property. It made sense rather to connect it to what it is next to, which is the assisted living facility. So it is those two parcels that we're asking to rezone for those reasons. The uses will continue as they are now, but this will make for better consistency, and we believe would be more appropriate from a zoning standpoint. There is a slight reduction, as Ms. Lambert noted, in the green space for the PUD once these parcels are taken out. However, I would respectfully submit to you that that reduction is negligible. It moves the percentage of green space to 33.84 acres and 48.5% of the project. So we still well exceed the 25% minimum that is required. So we would respectfully request your approval of the rezoning to MD2 of these two particular parcels that I just mentioned, comprising 6.78 acres, and an amendment to the PUD so that these parcels can be included within the assisted living parcel and the MD2 zoning. We'd be happy to answer any questions that any of the commissioners might have regarding our request or either of these parcels.
Thank you, Mr. Marone. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of these requests? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Willie.
Paul, you was correct when you said you was rearranging the puzzle pieces and putting them all back together. I agree with you. I move for approval. We need to vote on these separately, or?
Yes, we will vote on them separately.
Item number 7, I move for approval.
Motion by Commissioner Willie to approve. We're speaking of 2017-853-ZC. Commissioner Lauren.
One question. There's been several assisted living facilities built in St. Tammany in the last couple of years. Who currently is planned to operate this one?
The operator has not been finalized yet. There are several groups that the developer is in discussions with. Some are local, some are from out of state.
Will it be a private or?
Yes, most likely it will be a private facility. That's correct.
Thank you. And I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Lauren. Commissioner Richard.
Paul, I'm sorry you have to sit back down. This is not necessarily related to this question, to the motion in the second here, but on the St. Christopher Loop that goes through, the new MD property that would be for the assisted living or whatever independent living or combination thereof, How far, what kind of setback off of that main, because that's the driveway for the subdivision, correct? Or the housing component?
Yes.
I mean, it's one of the main roads.
Yes.
And I'm looking at it as we combine this, makes perfect sense. But is it going to be right there on the loop, or is it, or I know it's early in the stages, it's a planning issue, but is it intended to have some buffer there?
Well, the primary assisted living facility will be the old Priory building, which is set well back from there.
Correct.
So that building, actually, the bones of it are still quite good. And a great deal of work is going in to try to determine if it can be saved and if it is, in fact, historic in some respects. So that will be the site of the primary facility, if you will, which is well back from that
Agreed.
entrance road.
But then I'm just curious, because you made the argument that we wanted to bring this sliver of land, if you will, it's, I mean, it's a chunk of land, but into the fold and going ahead and rezoning it MD2. Is it going to be green space? Is it going to be, I mean, what's the purpose of it?
The 1.02 acres will likely continue to be green space. One of the advantages that it gives us is, again, it was off sort of on its own, adjacent to that, adjacent to the existing MD2. So that area and the 2.23 acre parcel will probably have uses that'll be consistent with the major facility. It won't be part of the major facility, but you might have gardens, you might have walking paths, you might have amenities that would complement the assisted living and that would be compatible with what you see at Alexander Ridge and Terra Maria as well.
That was my question. Thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner Randolph.
Yes, sir. Just for my, my information and educational purposes, will you explain item number 10, the piece that you're amending to the PUD?
Let's see, will I explain item number 10?
Is that it?
Well, the amendment to the PUD is really to extract out of the PUD. We're not adding anything to it. We're extracting out of it the entrance parcel and the 1 acre sliver on the north side of the Alexander Ridge entrance road. So nothing will be added to the PUD. The amendment is necessary because those two parcels are coming out of it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments, questions of the commission? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Willie to approve, second by Commissioner Lauren. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
Now, case 2016-155-ZC, which is the continuation of these. Are there any? Commissioner Willie?
Is that where we, is the major amendment to the PUD?
Correct.
Okay, move for approval.
Motion by Commissioner Willie to approve. Commissioner Richard?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Richard. Any further discussion? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Willie to approve, second by Commissioner Richard. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
Thank you. 2017-854-ZC, existing zoning, A4 Single-Family Residential District. Proposed zoning, A4 Single-Family Residential District and Manufactured Housing Overlay. The parcels located on the southeast corner of Gardenia Drive and Nursery Street, being Lot 16A, Square 13, Abita Nursery Subdivision, Ward 3, District 2. The parcel, 14,000 square feet. The petitioner, Clint R. Misch. The owner, Joe and Ida James. Council District 2. Staff?
The 2025 future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with residential uses, including manufactured homes. Staff does not have any objection to the request and recommends approval.
Thank you. You're the petitioner, sir?
Yes,
Would you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Clinton Mesh. I live at 72286 Gordon Avenue in Abita Springs. I'm here with Mr. Joe James, the previous owner. Effective December the 7th, we purchased the property, put it in our name. I'm actually here on behalf of my daughter and her husband. They currently live in a mobile home, Jeff Davis Parish, and we'd like to get them here. We moved here a year ago at Christmas time, and it's my daughter, her husband, and 2 young grandchildren. We'd like to get them here so they can eventually build. We love the area here. It makes more sense for us to just move their mobile home here. They live in a Clayton mobile home, which is, if you're familiar with mobile homes, one of the nicer mobile homes, until they can take their time and eventually pick out a place where they'd like to live.
Very well. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Davis to approve. Second by Commissioner Dougherty. Any further comments? If not, we have a motion by Commissioner Davis to approve. Second by Commissioner Dougherty. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
ZC 01-11-072, a major amendment to a plan unit development overlay. The parcel is located on the north side of Oak Harbor Boulevard, east of I-10, being parcel C2, Ward 9, District 13. The parcel is 2.19 acres. Petitioner, Pfeiffer Properties, LLC. The owner, Tammany Holding Corp. et al. Staff.
The request consists of allowing parcel C2 to be included in the plan unit development overlay and be assigned the zoning designation LE5 Interstate Commercial. Staff doesn't have any objection to the request, considering that the LE5 zoning designation, which allows for a variety of retail and commercial uses, meets the objective of the 2025 future land use plan. Note that the 2025 future land use plan designates the area as a commercial infill, which would allow for the development of a variety of commercial uses compatible with the surrounding area. And I'd like to bring to your attention that although on the map itself, it shows that this parcel is zoned PUD, it never had a zoning designation as it is shown on the attached drawing, as it's shown in Lakeshore Estate, Lakeshore Village PUD, and on the right-hand side, you have the different designations that are under that particular PUD overlay. So here the request is to allow for this parcel to officially come, part of the PUD and have that particular zoning designation to allow for the development of it.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here?
My name is Horst Pfeiffer, and I live in Manchac, Louisiana. And I applied for this. I have a few parcels there, and that's the entrance to the property to develop it.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
Yes, this property is located right across from the bank, correct? Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Davis to approve. Commissioner Randolph. Second by Commissioner Randolph. Are there any further comments? We have a motion by Commissioner Davis to approve, second by Commissioner Randolph. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
ZC 04-08-067, a major amendment to a plan unit development overlay. The parcel is located on the south side of U.S. Highway 190, east of Transmitter Road and west of South Tranquility Drive. Ward 7, Districts 7 and 11. The parcel, 78.51 acres. The petitioner, Kelly McHugh. The owner, J/Mac Development LLC. Staff.
The petitioner is requesting a major amendment to the PUD. And the following requests consist of, first, and you're welcome to follow along here as I've included in your packet, the existing PUD, the one that is currently approved, and the proposed PUD. So if you look on the, at the Highway 190 and the entrance of the subdivision, we have parcel C1, which is proposed to be removed. It was originally planned to be developed with commercial uses and replaced with, proposed to be replaced with parcel U1, and now to be developed as a site for the water well. The next point here, the next request is the reconfiguration of lots, which is mainly along the northeast side of Sunset Oak Boulevard, and this is to allow for the creation of parcel U2, which will now be the site of the wastewater treatment plant. And there's also a request to increase the number of residential lots from 160 lots to 161 lots. Note that the proposed amendment will not affect the total acreage or percentage of green space, and at this time, staff would like to recommend approval of the request.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Matthew Crane with the Jones Russell Law Firm, P.O. Box 1810, Covington, 70434. We represent J-Mac, the owner and developer of this site. The developer is ready to move forward with this project, and although the code designates these requests as major, we believe that they are minor and that they will only improve the subdivision plan. The first request is to move the water well site one lot to the north, which would eliminate the commercial site and convert the existing water well site to a residential lot. The second request is to move the sewer site to the existing lots 9, 10, and 11 and convert the existing sewer site to 3 residential lots. The purpose for this request is to create a more significant buffer around the sewer site. None of the requests will increase the density. It will not decrease the green space, and there will be no additional lots within the PUD. Staff has recommended approval, and we respectfully request that the commission grant approval to the major amendment to the PUD. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, for the gentleman, I got a couple of questions. Thank you for getting this thing started again. I know this has been in the works for a long time. I like the idea that you put the water well up on front, but at 190, it'll be easier to service in case you come down 190. And I also like the idea that you put the waste management section closer to 190 as well and get it away from where the more change of the density is. Do you see any problem with the lots 6, 7, and 8 right next to the waste management area in selling those lots? The lots immediately to the west of where you're going to be putting the waste management section. Do you see a problem with getting those sold?
No, we don't. I mean, there will be a buffer, I assume, around the waste facility, but there's no difference between moving it from where it is now to those 3 lots.
Right, and I like it being there though, instead of the southwest corner where you had it before.
Right.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Davis to approve. Commissioner Randolph.
The additional lot, 161, are you going to place it along Fairfax, that Fairfax area?
There's actually no additional lot. We are removing, right now there's a commercial lot, and there will no longer be a commercial lot. So instead of one commercial lot and 160 residential lots, there are 161 residential lots.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Casabon?
To approve.
Second by Commissioner Casabon. Any further comments? We have a motion by Commissioner Davis to approve, second by Commissioner Casabon. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
Plan review cases, applications requiring review and approval of site plans along a plan district by the Zoning Commission are as follows. PR 17-12-001, Use Retail Center. The Corridor, Highway 21 Planned Corridor Overlay. The zoning, HC2 Highway Commercial District. The parcel, 54,000 square feet. The petitioner, Scott M. Gross, P.E. The owner, JSB Highway 21 Lots LLC, John S. Bowers III. The parcel is located on the east side of Louisiana Highway 21, south of Azalea Drive, Ward 1, District 1. This was postponed from the December 5th, 2017 meeting. Staff?
After meeting with Mr. Gross and Mr. Grissett, staff recommends approval as most of the comments that I had last month were addressed. The few that you see here are just kind of minor notes, and the petitioner is aware that they need to apply for a land clearing permit, and that they're in the process of the re-subdivision process. They've started that, and they'll have to give us a lighting plan. So we recommend approval.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here?
Good evening, Scott Grove, 545 Beauchene Drive, Mandeville, Louisiana. Just to echo the staff's comments, we're dealing with the second phase of an ongoing development. We had several comments that we had to address and deal with, and I think we did most of them fairly well. Obviously, there's some still to deal with, and we know that we can't get a building permit without getting those resolved. We'll be happy to comply with any comments staff has, and I'm happy to answer any questions any of the commissioners have.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public and I bring it to the commission. Commissioner Lauren.
Mr. Grove?
Yes, sir.
Keep me honest. Couldn't operate without Martha pushing the buttons for me. I think we've had this once before, but just for the record, there are no waivers to the planned corridor overlay.
No, sir.
With that in mind, I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Lauren to approve. Commissioner Randolph.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Randolph. Any further comments? Commissioner Davis.
I'd just like to say thank you for Mr. Gross for getting all this done. I know before, when we talked about this earlier, that we looked like it had too many things to do, but thank you for taking care of that.
In all due respect, the fact that Commissioner Lauren made the motion on the Highway 21 planned corridor is a major achievement. He is very much a protector of that corridor, and we value that. With that, we have a motion by Commissioner Lauren, second by Commissioner Randolph to approve. Please vote.
All voted in favor, motion approved.
Is there any old business to come before the commission? Is there any new business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.